Rebel Without a Cause came out in 1955. It is my choice for this month's classic movie review, and since it came out in 1955, it qualifies, and it stars James Dean as Jim Stark. He's kind of this troublemaker kid who comes to this new town, and he kind of makes some friends, and he makes some enemies. That's the plot. It's directed by Nicholas Ray, and I also have to mention it co-stars two Oscar-nominated performances by Natalie Wood and Sal Mineo, who are excellent in the film, but we'll talk about that later. Rebel Without a Cause is a film that I personally feel inspired a lot. This was my first time watching it. I finished it like 10-15 minutes ago, but I've decided on my final thoughts in it. I think that while watching it, I noticed it inspired a lot of films, but two that in particular that came to mind were The Outsider from 1983 and Back to the Future from 1985. And I'll kind of elaborate on that a bit. Just the acting alone, especially from James Dean and Sal Mineo, I think that's how you say his name, really reminded me of some of the performances inside of The Outsiders, especially Ponyboy, who is C. Thomas Howell, something like that. And, what is his name? I will figure it out before he plays Dally. 1 second. He's a famous actor. Why can't I think of his name? Matt Dillon, that's his name. And Matt Dillon's character, Dally. Their acting really, I feel like, inspired their acting in the film and kind of just the whole, you know, The Outsiders takes place in the 50s. Now, I don't know when the book was written for The Outsiders. I will check that. I will check if this really did inspire. I feel like it inspired the acting, somewhat of the story, but mostly the acting. And then Back to the Future, just because there's so many references about being a chicken and how they don't like to be called a chicken. So, yeah. But Rebel Without a Cause is a film I loved a lot more than I expected, which I feel like I've said a lot with these classic reviews. But I adore this film. I feel like James Dean's performance feels very realistic. If I were to summarize this film in 5 words, it would be teen angst at its finest. And I mean that in the best way possible. James Dean plays such an interesting character, and he's a very deep person, and we learn more about him as it goes along, as he's just a troublemaker, and you see that right away in this film. He goes to a new town, he starts talking to this girl, and then these people, he's just asking, how do I get to this? And they're like, well, you gotta go this way and this way and this way. They're pointing different directions, and then they start messing with him, and then it gets to these awesome scenes. Now, I won't spoil this film, it's not a spoiler, but there is this really awesome scene, I think within the first half an hour, where there's this knife fight, and I read something on IMDb that said during this knife fight, apparently James Dean actually got cut, but the director stopped the scene. He's like, why did you stop the scene? I was like, oh, I was in it and stuff, and I was like, I mean, yeah, but that scene was amazing. There are some just fantastic scenes. The opening scene is awesome with James Dean at this police station, then he gives the very famous, "You're tearing me apart," except what I did was the "You're tearing me apart, Lisa" from The Room, which this film also inspired.
You're tearing me apart! You're tearing me apart, Lisa!
But he is fantastic here, but someone who really stood out to me was Sal Mineo. He got nominated for an Oscar for supporting actor, and he feels so real. A lot like James Dean and Natalie Wood, they don't feel like they're acting. Now, a film that came in 1955, now it looks like it came out in the 50s, and actually not like some other films like 12 Angry Men, which is, in my opinion, my favorite that I've still reviewed out of all these. But it's in color, and just the way that the camera moves is sleek and smooth. And I feel like I could see him as a person or his personality in people that I know even nowadays. And that is amazing for an actor who acted in a film that came out over 60 years ago. 65 years ago this year, actually. Natalie Wood plays this, one of the bullies kind of girlfriend, and the relationship that spawns between James Dean and her is awesome. I felt it throughout the entire thing. There's this amazing scene with the three that I noticed, and a lot like the other two, she doesn't feel like she's acting. They feel very real, and that is the best thing that you can have when it comes to coming of age films. And when it comes to teen or coming of age films, Rebel Without a Cause is one of the best and easily one of my favorite. I love this film a ton. I feel like the direction is stellar. The acting is my favorite aspect of it. The script feels realistic, and it just throws so many scenarios at you that you don't really expect. This film, the whole climax of the film involves, actually I won't tell you because I really want everyone to go watch this film because it is an essential watch. Obviously I've known about this film for a while. They talk about it in even La La Land, which I rewatched like last week, and I remember I was like, oh yeah, I'm gonna watch that film soon.
It's like Rebel Without a Cause, sort of.
I got the bullets.
Yes.
You've never seen it.
I've never seen it.
Oh my.
It's April 30th, the last day of April, so this review hopefully will get up before midnight, but we just got a dog, so that's why I haven't watched it yet. But I loved Rebel Without a Cause. It is one of my favorite films of the 50s, one of my favorite to come out before the 80s, and I feel like it is something that everyone needs to see. Who cares that it came out in the 50s? It really doesn't feel like it. It feels like it came out around the same time as The Outsiders. I'm gonna give Rebel Without a Cause an A+. Yeah, I've given an A+ to every single one of the films I've reviewed, and that will probably happen with most of them, but really, I love this film. I adore it. I will put up a ranking in December of all the classic movie reviews, the films that I do, like a ranking of them from best to worst, even though it's kind of like from best to bestest. Yeah, I had that actually on my letterbox now, so if you follow me on there, you get a sneak peek. As I watch them, they get added, but this film, I'll just tell you it's at number 3. I won't tell you what's above or below, but thank you all for watching. If you've seen Rebel Without a Cause, comment down below what you think of it, and I will see you guys next time. Over and out. I didn't have a red epic jacket to wear though, I'm sorry.